This is News 8 Now this morning.
If a traveler is going from, let's say, Madison to Wausau, you're able to view the winter road conditions in 501. You're also able to look at cameras along the route to see what the conditions are at that time.
Now they're letting him go after he did such a violent act. So, against one of his best friend, his father. This isn't just he didn't just murder his father, he murdered another human being. And I don't want that to ever happen to anybody else. Nobody else should have to go through that.
They're our neighbors, friends, and family, and we want to take a moment to honor them as many would honor a loved one that has passed away throughout the years.
And that was your eye-opener. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for watching News 8 Now this morning. I am Ken Kozrowski. That is Derek Sibley. It is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. And Derek, many of us waking up to several inches of snow in our driveways and sidewalks. That winter storm, it's here, and it is here to stay for the next couple of days at least.
Welcome to winter in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Ken, let's go.
Yeah. High energy. Here we go.
Exactly. Now, you didn't mess up your back, did you?
No.
Okay,
I mean, it's,
good.
you know, 50-50.
And you said it was
by
back
the
day
end of the day, I'll be
yesterday, right?
feeling a little sore, but
Yeah.
we'll push through.
All right, good. Well, hey, you won't have to push through much further here, Ken, at least because as you get home, I think the snow is pretty much going to be ending by that point. Maybe a few flurries left over. We'll get to that in a second. But 6 hours ago, at least the last 6 hours showing the radar loop, we saw a lot of snow move through overnight. And now we're kind of focused off towards the east where we are looking at some leftover scattered snow showers still moving through portions of our central, but also especially our eastern zones this morning as it continues to move away. All right, let's get checked now. City Cam 8, downtown La Crosse, a few flurries, but overall nothing too significant, not like what we saw here overnight when we had some of that snow move through earlier. Our current temperature readings are very cold. We're into the single digits, but back towards the west, areas like Red Wing, Rochester, Austin, and Minnesota, well below zero at the moment, and we're going to be looking at that air moving our way here later today. Wind chill factors well below zero all across the Coulee region when you factor in the current wind speeds here. Today's planner shows us that we will be looking at another chance of snow here throughout the morning, but looks like those snow chances are going to start to taper, especially late morning into the early afternoon. With cloudy skies here as we head into the evening, wind speeds will begin to pick up, Ken, and so will those wind chills. It won't feel good, and we'll get to that here a little bit later.
All right. Thanks very much, Derek. Let's get to some additional news that kind of tailor with what Derek was just telling us all. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is asking you to stay home if possible. If you must travel, the DOT is warning drivers some roads out there may be closed. The DOT is working alongside law enforcement to put out some travel not advised signs. Drivers can check for what roads will be closed by using the 511 Wisconsin app or the website 511wi.gov. The DOT will be updating road conditions live with the help of more than 500 cameras over the state and local law enforcement.
If a traveler is going from, let's say, Madison to Wausau, you're able to view the winter road conditions in 501. You're also able to look at cameras along the route to see what the conditions are at that time.
Yeah, all those roads on those interactive maps are color-coded. Pretty much all of them right now are either slick or snow-covered. Hoyt says strong winds and blowing snow could be dangerous for semi-trucks and large vehicles as well. So give yourself enough room and time to stop out there. Here's some other travel musts with the weather like this. Move your car out of your garage to warm it up and make sure your tailpipe is not blocked. If your child is in a car seat, take off their bulky coat. That will make their seatbelt snug and tight, and then cover them with a blanket. And finally, make sure loose objects are in the trunk of your car so in the event of a crash, they don't end up becoming a hazard. Well, with the weather like this, one fatal incident has taken place on I-94 near Eau Claire Wednesday night. Happened around 5 p.m. The driver lost control out there. Their vehicle rolled through the median and onto the opposite lanes of traffic. And that driver was ejected and later died. WIS DOT says all lanes of traffic are now clear, but be careful as multiple accidents have already taken place. The city of La Crosse's snow emergency is now in effect, and with it come the alternate side parking rules. The snow emergency stays in effect for 48 hours and ends on Friday, December 23rd at 6 p.m. However, the city says if needed, the snow emergency may be extended. The city's emergency declaration also triggers the opening of warming shelters. Starting Wednesday night, members of the city's unsheltered population are staying at the Southside Community Center. Once that building reaches capacity, the city will open Northside Policing Center. The warming shelters, will be open until Monday morning. Power outages are going on this morning due to today's snowstorm. If you happen to experience one, be sure to reach out to your service provider. Sign up for alerts if you haven't already. And winds are light today, but will be picking up tomorrow, as Derek alluded to, possibly causing more areas to experience those power outages. The Jackson County man committed after killing his father is being released. In 2017, a judge committed Lars Helgeson for life after he admitted to fatally shooting his father, burning his body, and burying it under an ATV track on his family's property. Helgeson has been receiving treatment for mental illness at Mendota Mental Health Institute. The 29-year-old petitioned the court for release. And a doctor who examined Helgeson told the judge he is not a danger to himself or others. Helgeson's brother and other family members have objected. They say Helgeson only started to take his meds a year ago, and he has admitted to skipping doses.
Now they're letting him go after he did such a violent act. So, against his best friend, his father. And this isn't just he didn't just murder his father, he murdered another human being. And I don't want that to ever happen to anybody else, because nobody else should have to go through that.
The judge granted Helgeson conditional release. Over the next 60 days, the court will determine Helgeson's outpatient treatment plan and where he will live. The winter storm is falling on the winter solstice, or the first day of winter. It's also known as the longest night. On Wednesday, people gathered in La Crosse to remember community members who can be forgotten in the dark. Organizers of the Homeless Persons Memorial Day read the names of 26 homeless and formerly homeless community members who have died. They say all of them are important.
They're our neighbors, friends, and family, and we want to take a moment to honor them as many would honor a loved one that has passed away throughout the years.
This was the 32nd annual memorial event. A local animal hospital is spreading some holiday cheer to Coulee Region pet owners. Hillside Animal Hospital hosted its 13th annual pet food drive for the Wafer Food Pantry. Hospital staff and vendors donated roughly a 4-month supply of pet food. Pet owners can purchase the food at a discounted rate from Wafer Food Pantry. One veterinarian says as energy bills and inflation rise, this is one less thing for pet owners to worry about.
Unfortunately, sometimes people are faced with making decisions as to meet their needs or meet their pets' needs, and so this is an opportunity to hopefully ensure the pets are taken care of and help others out in the community.
Last year, Hillside and Wafer collected a record of 10,000 pounds of pet food. Conrad says he hopes donations continue to increase each year. After 64 years, a beloved Northside shoe store is closing its doors. Lenny of Lenny's Shoe Repair is retiring. And as News 8 Now's Emily Haugen explains, Lenny will be remembered for far more than the repairs he made.
They say if the shoe fits.
Lenny Shoe Repair.
But Lenny Maniac.
I just picture what I'm doing and the problem I have, and I work around it. I just had a knack for that.
Has a knack for making almost anything fit.
They call it Lenny Shoe Repair, but I tackle anything and everything that comes through the shop here.
He's been in the business for 64 years.
I tell everybody I've saved a lot of souls. I just don't have the white collar.
Hi, buddy. Ever since I was a kid, my dad brought us here to get our shoes. Congratulations.
Every soul Lenny worked on has a story.
You know, I'm not one to remember names, but I know the faces and I know what I've done for them. I can name everything I've done for them.
And in many cases, they touched this cobbler's soul.
Yeah, his name was Stubbs Sasha. He had a foot problem that nobody could do nothing for him. So a friend of his brought him in to me, and I did a special build-up on him where he golfed and did everything for the next 12 years.
In Lenny's store, no one is simply a customer.
He's been a great friend for many years.
Everyone is better off, thanks to the man who helped them put their best foot forward.
Lenny kept me working, kept me walking.
Lenny's service is always sown with compassion. Work that will outlive even the oldest pair of shoes.
As soon as they get new shoes, they run down here and get them built up.
Lenny's had a great run.
Not going to be that easy anymore.
But the 80-year-old says it's time for his last stitch. Lenny will retire at the end of December.
Where the hell are you going to go to get your next shoe built up?
I heard it is a good place in Poland.
Yeah.
Although he's closing up shop.
I'm going to miss you.
Yeah.
Huh?
I hear that a lot.
Lenny's clearly left a mark on the souls of the city. In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
Thanks very much, Emily. And you can stop by and say your farewells at Lenny's Shoe Repair between now and December 30th. After that, there will only be one more remaining shoe store in the city of La Crosse. Time is now 6:09 a.m. on this Thursday. Still ahead on your morning news, the popular cookie chain that's making its way to Onalaska. We'll have the details. And the top gifts for the special foodie in your life. That's all coming up after the break. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Headphones are just getting weirder. Just one example, a $949 pair of air purifying headphones from Dyson, or headphones that transmit sound through vibrations on the user's skull. So why the sudden rush to gin up customer excitement with quirky updates? Many people have multiple pairs of headphones that they want tailored for different settings and scenarios, and introducing unique headphone designs is a way to stand out. Well, no argument there. Don't go anywhere. More News 8 Now this morning is coming up after the break.
We are continuing to track some of the snow here across the Coulee region, but it does look like over the last hour or so that a lot of the snow that we had overnight and as it pushed its way east is now beginning to weaken here a little bit. So some good news there for those travel plans if you have to be out there. Again, some scattered snow showers here across much of our central and eastern zones here this morning as it continues to make its way east here across the eastern zones. Current temperature readings are well into the single digits, some of us right around that 0 degree mark or lower. But when you factor in the winds, it makes it feel like it's 18 below currently in areas like La Crosse. Let's get to your zone forecast now. La Crosse County today, those high temperatures pretty much already happened, but we do have those chances of snow flurries or so kind of lingering throughout much of the day, with temperatures at around 10 that were recorded here around the Soldiers Grove area, and highs today only reaching the single digits to right around 0 across our central zones. Heading off to the north zones, very similar like conditions, and in fact some places only reaching around -1 for the high. I'll be back with the full weather forecast. We'll break down the timing and details of the snow and winds and wind chill and things like that of that nature coming up in just a bit.
If you're scrambling to get last-minute Christmas ideas, there is some good news. Retailers have been sitting on more than $700 billion in inventory since the summer, a result from the COVID shutdown shopping frenzy. Stores everywhere are offering discounts from buy one, get one free to 75% off. And experts warn if you find a good deal, don't wait. These sales are expected to carry over into the new year. So if you buy something and then see it cheaper at another store, you can get a refund for the difference. The crackdown on TikTok continues, with Alabama's Auburn University now banning the video sharing app on campus Wi-Fi and school devices. Other publicly funded universities are expected to do the same. Several states, including Alabama, have moved to ban the platform on government devices and networks. On the federal level, Congress plans to do the same. Federal authorities say users' private data could fall into the hands of the Chinese government. The popular chain Crumble Cookies is coming to Onalaska. This one will be located between Shopko Optical and Chipotle. The chain has more than 600 stores across the country and is known for their large frosted cookies and weekly rotating menu. If you need a last-minute holiday recipe, Alice in Dairyland says a new internet trend might just work for you. It's called a butter board. You slap some butter on a board and top it with anything you'd like. The spokeswoman for the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection says some proudly made in Wisconsin products could be a perfect combo for your butter board. And the options are endless.
So this is just one take on a butter board, and I kind of created it based on a bruschetta, so using sliced tomatoes, basil, salt and pepper, and then a little bit of balsamic glaze over the top of all of that.
Wisconsin is one of the top 2 butter producers in the United States. Every year, on average, Americans consume 6.5 pounds of butter. Is there a chef or aspiring one in your holiday gift list? Or maybe you need a last-minute stocking stuffer or Secret Santa surprise? Well, kitchen gadgets make great gifts, and Consumer Reports experts tried and tested a lot of them, the good and the bad, to make sure the cooks on your list get a quality gift for $20 or less.
You don't need to spend lots of money to make a great meal. Same goes for prepping that meal, says Consumer Reports resident chef Paul Hope.
We tested tons of kitchen gadgets this year that are great gift options for the foodies on your list. Best of all, they can all be had for $20 or less.
Paul says you can't go wrong with the digital meat thermometer, even if they have one already. CR recommends this Accurite. Another way to make your chef happy this season is by keeping their knives happy.
A sharp knife is not only safer, it just works better. It makes meal prep easier, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a great knife sharpener.
For around $10, this manual Kitchen IQ sharpens knives fast. A mandolin slicer is another great gift, especially when consistency and presentation are key, and there's lots of food to slice. CR's testers like the simplicity of this handheld Kyocera. It evenly slices hard and medium foods and costs just $20. For under $10, you can throw in this set of 4 plastic cutting board mats and you've got a kitchen gift basket. They're flexible, which makes them especially useful for chopping herbs, garlic, and other produce, and folding it right into your dish or pan. Got a baker on your list? This Greater Goods digital kitchen scale is the perfect gift, and it costs about $10.
Measuring cups aren't always as accurate as you might think. A kitchen scale is really the best way to measure ingredients like flour and sugar, so you know exactly what's going into your recipe.
And if you're on their cookie list, you just might reap the benefits of a kitchen scale too.
And another great idea to do for your personal chefs is to give them the night off by gifting a gift certificate or maybe signing them up for a cooking class to level up their skills.
We continue to track some of the snow showers that continue to move across the Coulee region, but we seem to be getting a bit of a break now in La Crosse County with just some lingering snow flurries here flying around across the area. Current conditions now in La Crosse, mainly cloudy though, temperatures at around 1 degree, but it feels like minus 18 when you factor in 15-mile-per-hour winds out of the west-northwest here early this morning. Current conditions to the north in Eau Claire, minus 4 degrees, but it feels like 22 below when you factor in 12-mile-per-hour winds out of the westerly direction here. Over the last 6 hours, the snow really came down, especially overnight across much of the Coulee region. But over the last hour, we're still watching some of that snow come down, especially off to the north, areas like Clark County as well as down south into Jackson County, looking at some light snow. And also across our south zones here this morning, looking at some scattered snow showers that continue to push their way towards the east. Now, standing by, we do have Eric Dean live in the First Warn Storm Runner here this morning. Eric, good morning to you once again. What are you seeing out there right now? Because it looks like on the radar, a lot of the snow here is coming to a close.
Right. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, everybody. We are in the First Warn Storm Runner. We're on the Minnesota side now, and earlier we talked about how a lot of your secondary roads have not been really touched. This is one of them. This is Highway 26 in Minnesota. Still covered with snow.
All right, well, we apologize for those technical difficulties out there. Remember, it's a winter storm, so we're going to have some of those technical errors and things like that of that nature, unfortunately. But again, some of those snow showers are moving their way back towards the east. We'll probably get to Eric here a little bit later in the show once again here for you to give you another update on the road conditions, though. Low pressure system has been responsible for bringing us all the snowy weather here this morning. We are looking at a very chilly air mass, though, that does exist behind that system, and that's really going to pick up the winds and, unfortunately, those wind chills to make it feel pretty miserable around here. Looking at current temperatures into the single digits, but it does feel like minus 18 currently in La Crosse, and overall we could say it's about 12 to 15 or so below zero in many spots as far as that feel like temperature is concerned. Again, a couple of snow flurries, a few snow showers here also possible early here, and a lot of us dealing with these winter weather alerts still associated with this very strong system in the form of blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings covering a good chunk of the nation, and this does include us here in the Coulee region as far as those two go, for blizzard warnings off towards our west and also winter storm warnings for the majority of the Coulee region. Now, we could be looking at an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow on top of already what we saw here. Blowing snow is still a concern, gusty winds and travel impacts all still a concern here as this winter storm continues to make its way through. Now, a couple of snow showers could form here, mainly off towards the east early this morning. That could continue into the early afternoon hours. But once all that clears out, this is what we're talking about next. Gusty winds, cloudy skies, and obviously very cold temperatures well below zero throughout the rest of the day today and into the day tomorrow here too. Now, we may be looking at temperatures warming up to around that 0 to 1 degree mark here for tomorrow afternoon, but otherwise still extremely cold here, especially for this time of the year, well below normal. And we are looking at some gusty winds picking up to at least between 35 to 40 miles an hour starting tonight. Wind gust up to 40 miles an hour, though, as we head into the day tomorrow And the same can really be said too as we head into Saturday afternoon. That's going to cause drifting and blowing snow all across much of the Coulee region here, with wind chill factors existing anywhere between around 20 to 30 below zero in many spots here through the weekend here, unfortunately. So you want to make sure that you're staying warm out there and only be outside if you absolutely have to be outside. All right, so let's get to your 8-day forecast now as we're running out of time, and you can see that we will be looking at some conditions returning back to normal here for Sunday, and then by next week temperatures are going to start to warm up into the 20s starting Tuesday and Wednesday. Stay tuned, though. We are back with much more news and weather still to come here on News 8 Now this morning. We are, however, taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for December 22nd. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Well, we continue to track the snow here across the Coulee region, but it does look like that a lot of it here is beginning to come to a close here. Most of it here exists off towards the east across our central and eastern zones in the form of some scattered snow showers here that continue to work their way across the area. Let's get a check now on your current temperature readings. We're well into the single digits. Some of us even checking in below zero, especially off towards the west. Dog walking conditions this morning still looking snowy in some spots with a few scattered snow showers this afternoon and a few flurries as we head into the evening. I'll be back with a commute forecast coming up in just a bit.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. We're in the heart of the high school winter sports season. For some athletes, it's their first opportunity playing for the varsity squad, and for others, it's their last year giving it their all for the town they grew up in. But not every story has a happy ending. Like for La Crescent Hoka senior Callie Esser, who has played for 6 years on the varsity team, but has to end her senior year early. Esser first made her varsity debut for the Lancers in the 7th grade, an opportunity that she didn't take lightly. But now as a senior, a knee injury that requires surgery is cutting her senior year short and made 2 nights ago her final game as a Lancer.
They told me that I was able to play, but at this point it's just like I'm not to my full potential and I won't get back to my full potential, and the pain is just kind of too much to handle. So I decided that the best for me is just to get surgery and move on and get better, faster, stronger, and I can help my team in different ways than just being on the court.
Esser plans on taking on a new role as a leader and a coach for her teammates. It's not the role she thought she'd be in this year, but Esser says if there's one thing being a part of this program has taught her, it's you got to keep on going.
Sports in general, it's physically 10% and mentally 90%, and it's just, you have to be able to roll with the punches. Every day it's going to be a different thing, and you never know, so just keep playing because you never know when you're going to get hurt, you never know when you're going to be done playing forever.
Esser may have played her last game in a Lancer uniform, but most importantly, she's leaving the program in a better place than when she first made the team 6 years ago. And yesterday was a big signing day for college football teams across the country. And here in Wisconsin, the Badgers will be welcoming in a new offensive lineman from Cashton. Zach Milsna signed his national letter of intent yesterday evening for the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he will be playing for their new head coach, Luke Fickell. A big thank you to the Milsna family for helping me get the video. That's all I have for the Morning Blitz. We'll have even more for you later this evening. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get to some more news. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says his plan to legalize recreational marijuana will be a part of his budget. He told reporters there is, quote, no question about that. Evers added he will sign a bill to legalize medicinal marijuana if Republican lawmakers send one to his desk. Republicans rejected 2 of Evers' past proposals. Now, Wisconsinites support legalizing cannabis. A Marquette poll from earlier this year found 61% of voters support legalizing the drug. Today, Governor Evers has filed an executive order to have flags flown at half-staff in honor of a U.S. Postal Service mail carrier who was killed. Andre Cross was fatally shot back on Friday, December 9th. He worked for the Postal Service for 18 years. Governor Evers said Cross was a cherished husband, father, co-worker, and minister who dedicated time to the community. Services for Cross will be held today in Milwaukee. Due to the extreme winter storm, professors at the University of Wisconsin were able to adjust their students' exams by canceling or moving them online. But for some, that didn't happen until Tuesday, causing them to scramble to find flights or buses to make it home for the holidays. Armin Rahman has the story.
I'm trying to get out. Freshman Matthew Shapiro isn't the only one. 501, students waited outside the bus stop to hustle home for the holidays after hearing their instructors adjusted final exams.
My professor was very good about being accommodating. He had the final exam online. It's been a little bit of a hassle, but I was able to find a flight pretty easily.
When he canceled my final, I was like, yeah, I should leave immediately, pretty much.
That was the out they needed to escape delayed or even canceled flights.
Yeah, I didn't want to stay and risk like being stuck in Chicago or anything.
Thank you. And road travel that could prove dangerous later this week.
This is my first time like obviously living in the Midwest, so I wasn't really aware of it, but my dad is from here, so he was kind of checking up, and he told me like yesterday, and I was a little worried.
But not every student got that early Christmas present.
Yeah, I know some who might be trapped here until Christmas.
Until today, Penny, Olivia, and Jen still had finals planned for Wednesday. They panicked when they couldn't get in touch with their instructor to change it.
We were freaking out.
So they made a TikTok video complaining that they may be stranded and away from family during the holidays.
So it's kind of crazy that just based on your class, you could lose an entire week of being with your family.
Their professor eventually responded and made accommodations, but the three still have to take a long 2 a.m. bus ride.
It's going to be a long travel day, but we're really lucky we figured it out, and it'll be worth it after pulling an all-nighter just that we're home, but it's definitely not ideal.
Rides can be brutal. Even though housing closes for winter break on Friday, the university is allowing students with travel delays to stay. They just have to email Resident Life to confirm those arrangements. For some Holmen high schoolers, the giving season lasts all semester. As part of the Character Strong class, students organize a Winter Wishes program. Students and staff anonymously make wishes for themselves or others, and anyone, including community members, are welcome to fulfill those wishes.
I think that's an important thing that not most high schools get to learn about and students get to learn about, and that's an important life trait that you need to take on in life no matter what your career path is or where you want to go after high school.
Now, although students and staff received their wishes already, you can always help next year. Area kids are picking up a new instrument in honor of the official start of winter. During a free harmonica workshop hosted by the Pump House and Children's Museum, kids learned a few songs from local musician Guy Hurling. It's all part of the nationally celebrated Make Music Day, which happens every year on the summer and winter solstice. Even though it was a little chilly for a celebration, Hurling says he's surprised how well his harmonica students are doing.
It was amazing how quickly they could pick up the songs that we were trying to learn. So it was really impressive and a real just a joy to be able to be here today.
Both harmonica workshops are over, but you can still celebrate by making some music of your own.
Well, we continue to track the snow here coming down across the Coulee region as we speak, but it looks like a lot of this here is mainly focused here along our central and eastern zones, especially up towards the north too in Clark County, looking at some light snow further south into Jackson County. We're also watching a few developing snow bands of portions of Monroe and also west into La Crosse County. As we head further south, our southern zones here, including Vernon County, down south into Prairie du Chien, and also into Richland County, looking at some snow showers. Even back towards the west, there's still some more bands here developing across portions of northeastern Iowa. So all this activity in general is moving its way towards the east here this morning. Road conditions coming in here, some of these reports not looking too great. Anywhere between snow-covered roadways as well as some slippery road spots here are currently being reported across the Coulee region. As far as the rest of your drivecast is concerned here, those snowy roads are going to continue into the morning and may even see some blowing snow here for the lunch hour, and then by the evening commute we could be talking about some blowing and drifting snow here once again. That's why we do have those yellow lights in place across the area. Stay tuned. I'll be back with the full weather forecast in just a bit. Ken? Oh, we're tossing to Eric Dean. Excuse me. Eric, what's going on right now?
Hey, I'd say what. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, everybody. Hey, the roads are, depending on where you're located, the main roads are okay. You can see here some of the side roads that have been left untreated. They're still really bad out there. We are seeing a little bit of ice and snow, especially in our the western part of the News 8 Now viewing area. You can see here that the road crews are out. They are doing a wonderful job keeping these roads drivable for the most part. Again, side roads are still for the most part untreated, but if you have travel plans, just please give yourself an extra half hour or so to get to your destination. Derek will have more weather coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. We will take another look with Eric live in the Storm Runner after these messages. We'll be right back.
Well, it sure is a very cold start and also a snowy start for some of you out there. We'll get to the radar in just a second. Current conditions 1 degrees. Overall, mainly cloudy skies in La Crosse, but we do have a feel-like temperature of -18 when you factor in 15-mile-per-hour winds, though, out of the west-northwest. Meanwhile, here's what it looks like in Eau Claire. Looking at some snowy spots there on the road, -4 degrees, a 22 below feel-like temperature being measured. That's because of the winds out of the west at 12 miles an hour being recorded here. All right, so getting to the radar picture, you can see over the last 6 hours, a lot of heavy snow fell overnight across much of the Cooley region. There's still some slick spots happening right now with some snow bands still moving through portions of Clark County as well as south into Jackson County. And you can see Monroe and La Crosse County looking at some scattered snow showers moving through. The same can even be said here across our southern zones as the snow continues to move through. All right, so we do have Eric Dean standing by one last time here for us in the First Warn Storm Runner. Eric, good morning. What's it looking like out there where you are?
Hey, good morning, Derek. Good morning, everybody. Hey, yeah, we are out here in the First Warn Storm Runner. We are kind of hitting the western zones where we have that blizzard warning that is in effect literally from the Mississippi River points west. As you can see outside right now, the snow for the most part is let up. There's still a lot of snow on the roadways, a lot of untreated roadways, especially your side roads. One thing to note, bridges and overpasses, they will be the first things to freeze. So if you have any travel plans, just please allow yourself extra time to get from point A to point B. Especially if you're traveling up in the Minnesota area or northwestern or northeastern Iowa counties as well, Winneshiek and Al-McKee County, you guys are seeing some heavy snow on the roadways as well. Now, one thing to note, again, the traffic early on the roadways, main roadways for the most part are okay. Bridges and overpasses, again, still slick. Allow yourself extra time to get from point A to point B. And one thing to note, make sure you have like your cell phone, your car charger, or a battery pack or something in your car, especially if you get stranded. Make sure you have a blanket or what have you in your car as well. But again, just allow yourself some extra time to get to your morning commute. That's all for now. Derek, we'll toss it back to you.
Up and get stranded. Okay, are we mic'd here? Are we good to go? All right, thank you. Yeah, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties there with the microphone, but hopefully you guys can hear me now.
All right, we're having some technical glitches with Derek's microphone. We're going to try and figure that out. In the meantime, we'll get some additional news this Thursday morning. The Christmas spirit is filling the air, and so is the smell of some tasty food. Coming straight from the Crave Brothers Farmstead Cheese Recipe Book is a delicious chocolate and mascarpone pie recipe you can try out this holiday season. The pie is simple and easy to make. Looks pretty darn good there. Simply bake a pie crust, combine your melted chocolate and mascarpone together, and spread it into the crust and refrigerate. To top things off, you can even channel your inner Salt Bae with a sprinkle of flaky salt.
It finishes off with a sprinkle of sea salt, kind of like snowflakes. You can garnish it with rosemary or mint, and it's a delicious holiday dessert.
For the full recipe, you can check out Crave Brothers Farmstead's website. We will post a link on our website, news8000.com. Nielsen reports that Wednesday was watched for nearly 6 billion minutes during the Netflix hit's first week on the streaming platform. So this marks the second biggest week of streaming ever recorded by the data measurement firm, topped only by the most recent season of Stranger Things. I actually had to have someone explain to me what the Addams Family actually is for me to even understand what this soft reboot, or I guess sequel, I suppose, is kind of all about, but it is going off like gangbusters. Time is 6:45 a.m. on this Thursday morning. Derek, let's head to break with today's Look Who's 8.
Turning 8 today. Now, Afton is a creative and fun girl. She loves her birthday so much that she celebrates the countdown every month. How cool is that?
That's awesome. And a happy 80th birthday to Charlene. She loves to ride bikes, garden, bake, and is known to be a very kind person.
Well, if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Absolutely. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com. Look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website, and you'll see it there. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. Time for your Morning News Now. The Jackson County man committed after killing his father is being released. In 2017, a judge committed Lars Helgeson for life after he admitted to fatally shooting his father, burning his body, and burying it under an ATV track on his family's property. Helgeson has been receiving treatment for mental illness at Mendota Mental Health Institute, and the 29-year-old petitioned the court for release. A doctor who examined Helgeson told the judge he is not a danger to himself or others. Helgeson's brother and other family members have objected. They say Helgeson only started to take his meds a year ago, and he has admitted to skipping doses. The brother Bjorn Helgeson said they are letting him go, I'm quoting now, they are letting him go after he did such a violent act against his best friend, his father. He didn't just murder his father, he murdered another human being. I don't ever want that to happen to anyone else. No one else should have to go through that, end quote. Now, the judge granted Helgeson conditional release, and over the next 60 days, the court will determine Helgeson's outpatient treatment plan and where he will live. More on your Morning News Now. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is asking you to stay home if possible. If you must travel today, the DOT is warning drivers some roads may be closed. Now, the DOT is working alongside local law enforcement to point out some travel not advised signs in specific areas. Drivers can check for what roads will be closed by using the 511 Wisconsin app or the website 511wi.gov. The DOT will update road conditions on those two tools with the help of more than 500 live cameras and local law enforcement.
If a traveler is going from, let's say, Madison to Wausau, you're able to view the winter road conditions in 501. You're also able to look at cameras along the route to see what the conditions are at that time.
It really is a helpful tool. Hoyt says strong winds and blowing snow could also be dangerous for semi-trucks and large vehicles, so give yourself enough room and time to stop out there. Here's some other travel musts on a day like today. Move your car out of your garage to warm it up and make sure your tailpipe is not blocked. If your child is in a car seat for travel, take off their bulky coat. That'll make their seatbelt more snug and tight, and then cover them with a blanket. And finally, make sure loose objects are going to be in the trunk of your car, so in the event of a crash, that they don't end up becoming a hazard to you and your loved ones. The City of La Crosse's snow emergency is now in effect, and with it come the alternate side parking rules. The snow emergency stays in effect for 48 hours, so it ends on Friday, December 23rd at 6 p.m. However, the city says if needed, the snow emergency may be extended. The city's emergency declaration also triggers the opening of warming shelters. Starting Wednesday night, members of the city's unsheltered population were staying at the Southside Community Center. Once that building reaches capacity, the city will open Northside Policing Center. The warming shelters will be open until Monday morning. For some Holman high schoolers, the giving season lasts all semester. As part of the Character Strong class, students organize a Winter Wishes program. Students and staff anonymously make wishes for either themselves or others, and anyone, including community members, are welcome to help fulfill those wishes.
I think that's an important thing that not most high schools get to learn about and students get to learn about, and that's an important life trait that you need to take on in life no matter what your career path is or where you want to go after high school.
Absolutely, good mindset there. Although students and staff received their wishes already, you can always help out next year.
All right, and as you head out the door this morning, keep in mind there's still some snowy weather out there in some spots around the Cooley region. Looking at some chances of snow that could linger into the early afternoon. Otherwise, just very cloudy with those temperatures well below zero. Keep in mind we have winter weather alerts for a good chunk of the nation, including us here in the Cooley region. Blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings in effect. An additional 1 to 3 inches of snow here expected in both the blizzard warning and winter storm warning. Blizzard warning off to our western zones, which include our southeast Minnesota counties, as well as our northeast Iowa counties, until early Saturday morning for the possibility of some gusty winds, and that could cause some travel impacts as well. Gusts up to 40, 50 miles an hour possible in that blizzard warning too, Ken. And after that, looks like we return to normal by Christmas Day, but still very cold here. Just have to get through these next 3 alert days that are in effect.
You don't see a lot of alert days in a row like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're at. Thank you, Derek. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. A big thanks to Eric Dean and our photographer Alex for braving the snow out there, driving on the highways, the side roads to give us an in-depth look on what those graphics are kind of showing in real time. So that's Derek Sibley. I'm Ken Kozbrowski saying thank you so much for watching on this Thursday morning. Stay indoors if you can. If you have to go out, please be safe out there. Give yourself extra time, extra room between vehicles on any roadways that you might be traveling. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you right back here tomorrow morning.